It's time for Coffee with the Chicken Ladies, a podcast for people who love chickens.
Hey everybody, and welcome. It's Chrisie&Holly from Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. We're here, and this is episode number 247 of our podcast, where we talk about everything chicken, family, fun, and
more chickens.
More chickens. We drink a ton of coffee. I'm talking a ton. But most importantly,
we hug chickens every day.
And we kiss them too. Don't forget, we brew coffee from a little coffee roaster in Houston, Texas. Bright and early coffee. Hallie Ann, what kind of coffee are we brewing today? And we need it.
We're just doing a little breakfast blend. Nice, basic, delicious.
And it's so good. If you're not drinking this breakfast blend in the afternoon, then you are missing out. Where should everybody go to get this delicious coffee?
brightenearlycoffee.com.
Use our code CWTCL15 for 15% off a bagged coffee. And if you need K-Cups, go over to Amazon. They have them there. And follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Are you ready to sip some of this delicious breakfast blend in the morning, but it's in the afternoon? Sorry. And chat.
Oh, my Lord. Yes, I am. But first, a word from our sponsors.
We have some exciting news to share from our sponsor, Grubbly Farms. They're here, new and improved, Grubbly's World Harvest.
I'm a longtime subscriber, and my flock love the healthy, nutritious treats, plus orders $40 and more ship free.
If you haven't heard, Grubbly's has a fantastic layer pellet and crumble feed. It's packed with plant and insect protein, perfect for those picky chickens and ducks.
Grubbly Farms makes food and treats for healthy pets and planet.
To support us and Grubbly Farms, use the link grubbly.co/coffee. Try it today.
Okay, so just to clear things up, my voice sounds weird. I did get the COVID from Ella, but we're here. We prevail. We've said this before. We're going to do it. We're going to keep going on.
The show must go on.
The show must go on. I'm not sweaty today, though, so that's good to know.
That is excellent to know. Thank you.
Right now, I'm good. Earlier, not so good, but I'm good. I'm in front of the mic. We are on Zoom because, yeah, I'm not giving you COVID. No, that's not happening.
I appreciate that. COVID on top of lingering Lyme disease sounds like a recipe for not good.
No, but we're still going. Yay. How are you doing? That's what I should ask, because that's more fun than COVID me over here.
You know, I'm tired, coping with weird little symptoms that crop up here and there from the Lyme disease, but I have a story for you.
Okay.
You know that I've been dealing with these raccoons, one in particular, who is crazy for eggs.
Oh, I heard the story from the other day.
Well, there's another one.
There's another one, man.
Yes. So I think it might have been the same day. So what you're talking about is I had that bag of shavings in the garage. I was in a hurry and I had some eggs in my pocket. So I just put them down in the shavings.
Thinking nobody's going to get them in there.
Right. And somehow that darn raccoon located those eggs in the shavings and broke and ate them on the garage floor.
And you informed me that raccoons do not eat the whites. They just eat the yolks.
I mean, they will eat the whole thing, but like if they're going to break it on the floor and the only part they can get to is the yolk, that's what they want, right? Yeah. So I had a couple dozen eggs to go to my family, and I also had like a half a dozen that I was filling for us. So because I knew I was going to go to the farm, the family farm, I put all these eggs in my car.
Oh my God, I kind of see where this is going.
Well, the driver's side doors were closed. I drive a Subaru, so the driver's side doors were closed. And I had opened the hatch because I bring hay for the sheep back and forth between my farm and the family farm. The back hatch on the Subaru was open for a little while I got the hay out, closed the hay, did all the evening chores. Pete and I were tucking in all the poultry, and we're walking back over to go in the house, and close up for the night. And Pete had a headlamp on, right, as red headlamp. And it flicks off the car, and I was like, there are eyes in my car. So he shines a flashlight. That darn raccoon was in my car.
Oh my God.
It must have gotten in during that 5 minutes that the hatch was open and I was giving hay to the sheep.
Yeah.
And it had found its way to the front seat.
How many eggs did it eat?
It only got 4. And luckily I had a couple of towels stacked on the passenger seat because it's sitting there eating the eggs, right? So I took the towels out and cleaned everything up, and I let Pete persuade the raccoon to get out of my car.
You did not take pictures. I would be having the camera out.
I know you
pictures.
would, but I was just, I was absolutely incensed. And then the next morning, I go out and get in the car to go over to the farm, and I realized there are raccoon prints all over my dashboard. But did it smell the eggs? How did it know that there were eggs in the car?
It's that raccoon loves you. You're like perfect for the raccoon. You're like, oh man, she left me eggs up here this time.
Now that the ducks are out of the garage entirely and in their run, that garage door is staying closed. That's my story.
So was it your mom's eggs that got eaten?
No, they were mine. They were my eggs.
Oh,
It was that. Remember I said there was a partial dozen?
Oh, yeah.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one it got. Yeah. But if it had been there all night, would I have come out to like 4 dozen broken eggs in my car?
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. And a big fat raccoon sitting there like, oh, yeah. They're like, this car is the best. It's full of hay and eggs.
And
I can relax.
Car. I could live in here, man.
And I was like, you flash it over. You're like, there are eyes in my car. What is
And I think I said something like, no bleeping way. And Pete was like, what?
Holly had like the horn going on.
Pretty much.
Earlier that day, he was like, Holly, did you have eggs in the garage?
I was like, they were hidden. They were hidden in the shavings. Apparently they weren't hidden well enough.
Apparently.
I mean, does this thing stalk me and watch me?
Yes, it does. I saw this thing probably because we had been talking about raccoons. I'm getting all these raccoon reels on my phone now. And I saw this thing where it said a raccoon can recognize people for up to 3 years.
Oh, great. That's okay.
So they're like, oh, yeah, that egg chicken lady's out there.
Oh, guys, get ready. The egg lady's here.
She gets busy and she puts those eggs everywhere. She just puts them anywhere.
Next thing I know, I'm going to feel a hand taking them out of my pocket.
yeah. I don't know. Would you be better off to do like you do at the farm and leave like a little bit of cat food down, or is that going to just attract more?
No, I'm not going down that road. I'm not. No, that is not happening here.
I mean, at this point, they're like used to it. They're like, look, what am I going to find tonight? I mean, I'm still laughing about that. How did you not tell me about that earlier?
I was saving it for this because I wanted you to laugh spontaneously.
You saw eyes in your car. You're like, something's in my car.
I could not believe that. So that's what's happening here at
you know what would have been
Acres.
What would have been funny is if the raccoon was like on the hay, like laying there eating the eggs, like
fat, happy, sucking eggs out of the shell. Oh my God.
Maybe that you went to the farm and you left your hatch open and you brought the raccoon over from the farm and they're like, oh, where are we going? We're going over where there's more
No,
stuff.
it definitely was not that. But I had to, I mean, when I got in the car yesterday, I had to like do a double take and make sure there was no baby raccoons in there, anything waiting for it. No surprises. That's when I saw the footprints and I was like, really?
I'm never going to sit in your car the same way again. And on that note, if you're listening to our show and you're loving it, head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a written review. It does amazing things for the growth of our show. While you're there, hit that subscribe button because they count them. They do. They count them, and then they rate us all. It's all a big thing. So if you hit subscribe, you help us out there. And you don't want to miss this raccoon fun. You don't want to miss next time to hear that this raccoon was somewhere else at Holly Ann's house. I'm waiting.
I'm going to find it in the kitchen sink.
I will not be surprised.
No, I'm sure Pete would draw the line on the raccoon in the house.
Doing some laundry.
Right. If you're looking for other ways to help support the show, you can tell some chicken, duck, goose, or raccoon loving friends about us.
Oh, yeah.
You can share your favorite episodes on social media. You can become a patron of the show, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. Thank you to our patrons. We love you. And the other way you can support the show is visit our website and our show notes, use our affiliate links and discount codes, and buy products from our sponsors.
Yay!
You know what I love when it's 95 degrees outside?
Being inside.
Well, that too, but I really love cleaning my igloo chicken coop.
Yeah, it is so easy to clean. You don't have to break a sweat.
And you can use a water hose or pressure washer, so it doubles as a cool down. I also love those run covers.
Oh man, the shade is superb. I go into the run to cool off.
Yep, my flock's covered during the heat of the day, just chillin'.
Meanwhile, we're melting on the patio. Seriously, can we get in on this amazing coop design for ourselves?
They're out there living the dream.
So when it's pushing 100 degrees, the right setup matters.
That's why we choose an igloo.
Get your girls their own just in time for summer.
Search Omelette. That's OMLET.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you like monthly subscriptions?
Does it have anything to do with chickens?
Of course.
Then yeah. Let us take a minute to tell you about Chicken Love.
You get a monthly Chicken Lady tea, treats for your flock, and a keeper care card.
And did you know with every multi-month subscription, you get a free Chicken Love logo t-shirt?
Really?
Yeah.
It's $36 a month with free shipping.
What are you waiting for? Get off the nest and click already. That's chickenlove.com. That's chickenluv.com. Get your subscription today.
The Breed Spotlight is brought to you by Murray McMurray Hatchery, defining quality for generations. For over a century, Murray McMurray Hatchery has remained a trusted family-owned business, working tirelessly to ensure our poultry meet the highest standards.
Whether you are an experienced enthusiast or just embarking on the journey, look to McMurray Hatchery for guaranteed quality, rare and heritage breeds, low minimums, and all the supplies you need to raise your flock. Request a free catalog today.
There once was a little red chicken that was very popular. Started in the USA, and today we are going to talk about this little chicken on the Breed Spotlight. Yeah.
You've defaulted to that weird kind of talking thing. There once was a little red chicken, or there once was a little duck, or whatever.
Well, today's Breed Spotlight is, if you didn't figure it out already,
The Rhode Island Red.
it's a little red chicken.
Mm-hmm. It is a little red chicken.
Made in the USA, and we're talking about it today. I got my rhymes in there.
The Rhode Island Red is the quintessential American chicken. I mean, I get really antsy when people misuse the word iconic. You've heard my rant over this, right?
Oh, yeah. I've heard all your rants.
The Rhode Island Red, you can say, is an icon of American chicken keeping.
This is going to be my job this week while we're doing this, is to get a Marilyn Monroe pose from Spicy. That would be great. Like, put a little skirt on her, the fan.
Put her over top of a fan. Really, I think one of the most amazing things about the Rhode Island Red is that they are the most well-known chicken in the world.
I mean, when you say to people, I have chickens, they always say, do you have the red ones?
Rhode Island Red?
Do you have a Rhode Island Red? It's like, that's the one chicken before even the Leghorn, honestly, that comes into their heads.
Absolutely. They are a true dual-purpose breed, and they were a mainstay of homesteads and small farms throughout most of the 20th century. I mean, some of this might be marketing, but I don't think they would have stayed as popular as they are this long if they didn't deliver.
Oh, they deliver.
They deliver. Over the last 50 years or so, however, a smaller and lighter colored, like, commercial version of the Rhode Island Red sort of became the norm. Even for backyard chicken keepers, when you would order a red, you would get production lines, right?
Right.
There is, however, a heritage strain of the Rhode Island Red. And to quote the Livestock Conservancy, the heritage Rhode Island Reds are larger birds, they're a darker red, and they do retain broody instincts.
Now, I believe Spicy is of the heritage breed. She is a mahogany. She's like a deep red. She's bigger. She does not look like the lighter ones that are out right now. She looks totally different. So I do kind of believe I somehow luckily got that heritage breed Rhode Island Red. I don't know, but I think I did.
I've said this before. We got Rhode Island Reds in our very first batch of chickens, and I've shown you some photos of them, and they have a lot of gold in them. They are a much lighter red.
She's like a fine bottle of wine. So I know she was Joe's pick, and I talk about it all the time, but she has turned out to be one of my favorite chickens. I mean, she is just an amazing girl.
Yeah, Spicy is a good example of a nice quality Rhode Island Red that you can buy from a hatchery. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Now, the Livestock Conservancy had the Heritage Rhode Island Red on the conservation priority list for a long time, but they've graduated in 2020 from the list altogether. So Rhode Island Red, right? Heritage Rhode Island Reds are once again not in need of conservation, which is wonderful.
It's great. And the thing is, it's a type of chicken that is so popular, it was hard to believe they were there. But that's what can happen when caring for certain animals falls out of favor with the general public. They all can be in danger.
And again, this was that commercial line. That's what people could get their hands on.
Right.
So.
Exactly. They changed them up a bit. So yeah, it's definitely, I always say Spicy's like a fine bottle of wine, red wine. She's beautiful. And she's all over our social media. So if you want to see what a heritage breed Rhode Island Red looks like, go over there and check out our social. She's all over the place.
A very quirky and fun little girl. She's a nice chicken.
She is.
So when it comes to Rhode Island Red history, you generally read or hear Rhode Island Reds were developed in New England during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The American Poultry Association's standard of perfection included the straight comb Rhode Island Red in 1904 and the beautiful rose comb Rhode Island Red in 1905. The red Malay, the brown Leghorn, and, I quote, Asiatic native stock are listed as the foundation breeds. I'm assuming Asiatic native stock might be Cochin, Brahma. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I kind of see more Brahma, to be honest with you.
Other sources actually come right out and say the Shanghai chicken, that's the Cochin.
Yeah, it is, but they kind of have that
Well,
same
the reason
look.
you're thinking Brahma is because the Malay, because remember, the Malay is a foundation breed for the Brahma.
Exactly.
So that's what you're getting, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Now, the Livestock Conservancy also lists the Java as a foundation breed, specifically the Auburn Java, and we have heard that in relation to the Rhode Island Red. So
exactly.
That's also an interesting twist. Now, because we like to know background stories and because the history is so interesting, we did a lot of in-depth research for this one. And it was super duper fun, by which I mean I spent a lot of time with my head in a book.
Yeah.
So the story starts off with a fishing captain. So somewhere in the early 1850s, so this is before the Civil War, the U.S. was not even 100 years old at this point, a man named Captain William Tripp acquired a red Malay cockerel. At least one source says he bought it off of an English sailor. Who knows? The important part is he brought this red Malay home and let him start breeding with his hens. The hens were probably like, what is that?
They're like, that's a big man you're bringing home.
Dinosaur loose in here, man. What are you doing?
Is that a chicken? I don't know. Or are you just happy to see me?
His hens were hatching Malay cross babies, and he really liked the offspring. Apparently, they laid a lot of eggs, and because of the larger body, they worked very well as a dual-purpose bird. So Captain Tripp, thrilled with what he is creating, he shows these birds to one of his best friends, John Maycomer. And John Maycomer ends up leaving Tripp's home with some of these Malay crosses to breed with his own chickens.
He take home the big boys too.
Right? I'm sure he had to at least take some cockerels home, you would think.
He's like, size matters, baby.
And then his hens were probably like, what in the world?
The hens everywhere were like, in the U.S., stop it, just stop it.
No. So these two merrily embark on this breeding project using these birds. They would occasionally bring in other birds, usually Brahmas, Javas, or Cochins.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would trade some of the stock back and forth to minimize inbreeding. And at this point, the birds do not have a standard appearance yet, and apparently they could produce a variety of comb types on the offspring. So there were straight combs, there were rose combs, and there were even pea combs.
All the combs were plentiful.
All the combs, right. Then word starts to get around. So, New England's not a big place. Word gets around about these two with these chickens.
Of course, because they're giant.
Right. And the local farmers start showing up to buy them. And at that point, they were known as Maycomers or as Tripp's fowl. One of the farmers who came to buy stock from them was a man named Isaac Wilbur, Wilbour. Wilbur ran a large egg farm in Little Compton, Rhode Island, and he was supplying eggs to the Boston and the Providence, Rhode Island markets. He hears about these chickens, and he wants to give them a try. They're supposed to be such great layers. They're bigger bodied. Wilbur was the grandson of Isaac Wilbur, and Isaac Wilbur was one of the early governors of Rhode Island. Mm-hmm. So the reason I'm telling you this is Wilbur wasn't just like a farmer. He was very well connected socially and probably financially, and he was the person who really put the Rhode Island Reds on the map.
He was the equivalent of social media today. He was the stepping stone that got the word out. So He had the money, the resources, all the things to get these giant birds out there and say, look what we have.
His goal was eggs because he was running an egg farm. So Wilbur brings home the Trips fowl and he starts breeding, as they all do. He wanted to continue producing a dual-purpose bird because there was a need for that. But he really wanted them to be great layers to support his egg business. And he wanted the birds to be large enough to withstand the cold New England winters. So he was thinking, at least, right? He wasn't just eggs. He was thinking this bird needs to be able to work in this climate. Now, I found no record of this at all. This is my own personal theory. Everything I read makes me wonder if Isaac Wilbur was the one who added brown leghorn into the Rhode Island Red. The brown leghorn is very possible. They arrived in the U.S. in 1853.
Right.
And if he had added them, would that really have maximized egg production for him with these birds?
Yes.
Yeah.
The answer is yes and yes and yes.
So whether the theory is correct or not, he carries on breeding. And in the late 1890s, two professors from the Rhode Island Agricultural Experiment Station, which is now known as the University of Rhode Island, came to his farm to see the breed, and they were really impressed, and they end up asking him to name it. He chose Rhode Island Red. It's a good name.
Of course. Yeah, it is. It's catchy.
It's descriptive. It's alliterative.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's all the things. It's right. You're going to remember it, and people do. Yeah.
So next thing you know, this breed has become super popular, and they're spreading all over the U.S. Egg farmers, smallholders, backyard chicken keepers, everyone had their flock of Rhode Island Red. My great-grandfather on my mom's side had a little farm in Anne Arundel County, Maryland. He had Rhode Island Reds, and he had turkeys, too.
Yeah, and we all know the story of my great-grandfather. Right. He was known as the Eggman of Little Italy, Baltimore City. My mom grew up on an egg farm, and my mom tells us that he had Rhode Island Reds and Leghorns. They had hundreds and hundreds of them on their farm. So he did buy into, I'm an egg farmer, I need Rhode Island Reds and Leghorns. So they were popular, man.
They were really popular. And then a little further in time, my father's father lived on Upper Landing Road in Essex. You know right where this is.
Yes.
He kept a huge garden and a flock of Rhode Island Reds.
Yeah. Okay, so the Rhode Island Reds, or the Rhode Islands as I call them, come in two different types. You got the straight comb and you got the rose comb. Both types are lustrous, as Holly Ann says, shiny and new and all the good things. Deep maroon red with black tail feathers. Now, these chickens are gorgeous. I say they look like a fine bottle of wine. They're just gorgeous. Merlot, definitely. Now, they have bright red faces and earlobes, bright yellow legs, and a strong, blocky body. It's like they're a big, heavy chicken. When I pick up Spicy, it's a lot of arm of chicken.
That's an armful of hen to love.
It is for sure. Roosters average about 8.5 pounds and hens about 6 pounds. Now, it's a lot. I think Spicy's over 6 pounds myself. Mm-hmm. You know, she's pretty large. And now, here's the good part you've been waiting for. Hens are excellent layers of large, and I'm talking large, brown eggs. They're big eggs. Spicy lays some eggs, and I'm like, is that a double yolker? It never is. It's just her normal egg.
A huge egg.
They're huge. And it's about $250 to $300 per year. And they generally do not go broody. That's the thing. So their egg laying time is longer, though some of the very old heritage lines will brood. So, you know, you got to kind of see what you're going to get genetically. Right. Mine has not. Spicy has never gone broody, which is amazing.
I mean, they have been selected largely for egg laying. They're one of the better layers in the heritage breed world. And Spicy is really the epitome of this, but they are bright and curious chickens. They're very alert and intelligent, and they can be very friendly if handled young. They're usually very good with people.
They're usually very, very good with people. That's another one. This was Joe's pick for a chicken. This was Joe's one chicken. I was kind of afraid. It was kind of like taking that step out to get Lucy, the Leghorn. You're kind of afraid because you hear all the stories, but pleasantly surprised and in love with my Spicy. She's got an amazing personality. I mean, it's just amazing.
Now, Reds can have a very strong personality within flock dynamics, especially if you have groups of them. They become girl gangs.
Now, if I say Rhode Islands and then you come in with reds, then we got it together.
Got it covered. Right.
We got it covered. They can become girl gangs, a lot of them together. So here's our suggestion. Start with just 1 or 2 tops in your flock, and don't do an entire flock of Rhode Islands because
you could, if you don't have anything else in the flock and you just want to start with 4 or 5 Rhode Island Reds, you should be fine. But if you're keeping Cochins and you throw Rhode Island Reds in there,
right,
multiple, you could have some problems.
Right. And they're great with people. This is the misconception that comes in sometimes with a flock bully chicken is they're going to be mean to people. And it's quite the opposite. They usually have great personalities, great with people. It's the other chickens that they don't do well with. And that's what we're saying with this bird. If you get a lot of them in a mixed flock, you're going to have some issues.
We made the mistake of putting them in with Americanas and Cochins early on, which was not really wise. But they did okay with the Barred Rocks. I think the Barred Rocks and the Rhode Island Reds kind of canceled each other out. And we would recommend, if you do want to do a mixed flock, get some of the other Americans to put in there with the Rhode Island Reds, or somebody like Morans, Wyandottes, just other birds that have a similar strong personality.
Now, here's the thing. Spicy went in with a mixed flock of laid backs. So she is laid back.
And she's a single bird.
So she kind of modeled herself towards everybody else. So it is what you make your flock. And if you want to do that, start the flock together as chicks.
Right.
Because they kind of then mesh together very well. The difference is...
The order sorts itself out naturally without so much drama and bloodshed.
Exactly.
Like we said at the beginning, these birds are excellent for almost any purpose. Laying, showing, homestead breed, as pets. You can attest to that with Spicy.
Oh, yeah.
They're really good in the garden, turning over the compost pile and old beds, things like that.
Now, they're cold hardy, but you want to watch these combs and wattles because they're straight. They can be large. It can be floppy. And the rose comb, too. You want to watch it.
Yeah. So if you're in a cold region, you can try the rose comb because it will get frostbitten less than a straight comb, but they will still get frostbitten eventually.
Now, they're big, but they're not like a fluffy breed. So they're a little bit better in the heat, but again, they still are bigger chicken. They're going to need fans. I feel like we say this all the time, but it is the truth. If you make the right provisions with any chicken in your area, you can have them live comfortably.
Right.
So, you just have to be able to make the provisions for them. So
it comes down to what you want. Like if you live in New England and there are some really cold hardy breeds, but those aren't what you want, get what you want, but know that you have to do things to keep that bird safe and comfortable.
Exactly. So I know there are a lot of people out there listening that have the Rhode Island Reds. If you have them, share the story on your IG, hit the mention button, put our name in, it will send it to us. And we want to share so many Rhode Island Reds. Please send us your pictures. We would love to see them.
Are you ready to dive into the fascinating world of backyard ducks? Look no further than Metzer Farms, your premier destination for top quality waterfowl. Whether you're a seasoned breeder or just starting out, Metzer Farms has everything you need to elevate your flock to the next level. And if you're passionate about call ducks, you're in for a treat.
Metzer Farms hatches a stunning variety of call ducks, meticulously bred for their miniature size, beauty, and calm temperament. From snowy whites to vibrant colors, each duck is a masterpiece waiting to grace your backyard. Visit MetzerFarms.com today to browse their extensive selection and start your journey into the wonderful world of waterfowl. Metzer Farms, where passion meets perfection.
If you're looking for a chicken coop that's produced in a planet-friendly, sustainable way, try Nestera.
Each coop is made from highly durable, 100% recycled plastic that keeps the equivalent of up to 2,000 shampoo bottles out of a landfill.
Their clean, modern design will fit into any garden or run area and comes with an industry-beating 25-year warranty and a range of handy accessories.
Simple to put together, so quick and easy to clean, and most importantly, red mite resistant. Your chickens will love it.
Quick shipping from Nestera.us.
For a 5% discount, use the affiliate link in our show notes, on our website, and on Instagram. Link in bio. Check them out today.
Are we ready to move on to main topic? Yeah. I can still sing a little. Yeah. So today's main topic, you got us. We're guests today of our own show, and we're going to be talking about this
soil
topic.
testing.
I was getting it out.
I didn't realize you had another word to say.
You didn't
Or
realize
just stop
it.
talking for a second.
Soil testing. That's it. That's what we're talking about.
We wrote an article about this in the spring 2025 edition of Chickens Magazine, where we go into a lot more in depth about the whole process and how we figured it out. But for now, we're going to just talk about why soil testing is important. And
Oh, yeah. I mean, it can be contaminated before you even get to your property. So,
well, it generally is. That's generally
Yeah.
what happens.
and it's done long times before that you're looking at the ground and you just need to take
Even-
it back.
Even land that hasn't been developed yet can have high levels of heavy metals. So lead paint, old and leaking car batteries, rusting galvanized wire, overuse of fertilizer. That's what happened here.
And I was to say fertilizer is what everybody thinks it's your friend, but it's not. It's a chemical that you're putting on the ground. So,
And it's very easy to overuse it unless you've had some soil testing done to know what you need and what you don't need. So there may be no visible signs of contamination in your soil. You should still test it. Just test where you're going to put coops and runs. If you have an old home, or
Right.
there was an older home that stood on the property where it was built before 1970, you should get it tested for lead,
You could
for all
kinda
the heavy
think-
metals.
you could think about it this way. It's like, think about the lead paint protocol that we used to
Right.
go through. If you're testing your home for lead paint or anything like that, you're going to test your property for soil problems and those things in the soil. Now, chickens and other poultry, they can also develop heavy metal poisoning by ingesting hardware that contains high levels of lead or zinc. Now, zinc, you might think it helps you with a cold, but in the soil, it's not a good thing for
Not too
chickens.
much of it, right? It's interesting. We're really going to stick with most of the soil side, but if your bird does eat like a screw or a staple or something, it actually will show up bright white on an x-ray.
And that's one of the few things that x-rays can detect when
Yeah.
it comes to chickens, because it's very hard for them to detect other things. I took somebody in for an x-ray and they're like,
June.
oh, she has a staple.
It was
Yeah,
June.
she's got a staple in there. I was like, damn it.
Yeah.
So that didn't cause a problem, the one staple, and it went through. But, you just have to know that they're eating everything in the ground.
If they're getting heavy metal poisoning from an object, like a screw or something like that, a vet can use x-rays and they can use blood tests to diagnose. But with soil contamination, an x-ray is not going to do anything because there are no foreign bodies in the chicken. So you have to go with a blood test for diagnostics if you suspect your bird has been poisoned because of soil.
Right. And you know what? Your bird will come out maybe not feeling well. And there's a lot of different things. Now, chickens explore the world with their beaks, with their feet. They ingest a lot of dirt in the process, man. They're going to be out there and they're going to be biting and cleaning their feet of dirt and everything else. So if your chickens aren't feeling well, that's going to be something you need to advocate to your vet for this. You advocate for your chicken to the vet.
A lot of vets don't even know the particulars of this. So one of the things that clued me off early on that something was wrong was that my hens started to lay fewer eggs and they started to lay these thin shell eggs there was no reason for them. So there were some egg abnormalities early on. Some of them just stopped laying altogether for no discernible reason. Other symptoms.
Let's go through the list of symptoms.
There can be neurological problems. You can see them like walking off balance.
Muscle weakness. They may have limping in a leg that's unexplained or a wing, that kind of stuff.
Crop and digestive issues. Heavy metals will slow their crop and their digestion.
And for some chickens, all these things can be fatal. It can kill your chicken. They can have a sudden death from this also.
Yeah, before you even see symptoms, you can lose a bird.
The one thing I didn't see on here, which was one for your chickens, is sleepiness. It can also make them very tired. That was one of the things with your chickens that you noticed that they got sleepy.
Franny the leg bar, she was falling asleep. And you know how leg bars are. They're always going.
Right.
She was sleeping at times where no one else was sleeping and, it was odd.
Right.
So I remember seeing her do this and I ran into the run and I thought, she doesn't look right. And I picked her up and she opened her eyes, but I handed her to Pete. And she literally fell asleep as I was handing her to Pete.
Yeah.
That we were like, there is something wrong with this bird.
Yeah, unexplained sleepiness, that kind of thing. If you're noticing that, that is a symptom of the, heavy metal poisoning.
The treatment for it is chelation therapy. So Dr. Rebecca prescribed twice daily injections of calcium EDTA that she had to get from a compounding pharmacy. And this works because the calcium bonds to the heavy metal in the bird system, and then both are flushed out of the body. In most cases, we say most, not all. In most cases, if the problem is detected early enough, the chickens can and do make a full recovery.
They do. Now, soil testing is widely available in the U.S., so there's no reason not to test if you're starting to see some issues with your chickens, or if you have some knowledge that things were dumped on the property that you're cleaning off or put there. So that's always a good idea. The University of Delaware, Cornell, Iowa State, Texas A&M, University of Wisconsin, Louisiana State, and Oregon State University, among others, are offering testing services for both residential and agricultural properties. So that's a long list from coast to coast.
And that's not even all of them. That's not even all of them.
There's got to be a place close to you somewhere in there.
Right. So we use University of Delaware, and they were really great to deal with. The tests vary in price. Most of them are under about $20. I think I paid $13 or $14 per test. And you have to read their offerings. So University of Delaware, they will do a heavy metal screen as part of a residential test. You don't even have to get crazy. Just, do the residential form and maybe note on there, this is for chicken coops, etc. I thought it was really interesting. It made me laugh knowing because we're friends with her. But when University of Delaware sent back my original test results where the zinc was off the charts.
Yeah.
They put a printout of Poultry DVM in there and said, this is a good site with lots of information. Yay, Kelly.
Yeah.
The testing is actually really easy to do. You want, like a little shovel or a trowel and a bucket. And what you do is you're going to take several small samples of dirt in your area. So I went into the run with a bucket and I went around and took shovelfuls from about 10 different places. You mix all that together and then you scoop some of it into the test bag. You're going to do this for as many areas as you need to test. Once you've gotten all that together, you take it to the post office because it's like this weird kind of cloth bag with a paper sleeve. It's hard to describe, but the postal employees are familiar with these bags and they know just how to send them to the lab. So take them into them and they'll get you straightened up. You pay them for postage. You're good to go.
Most testing labs offer two ways to receive your results. You can either get them emailed or sent through the USPS. And usually quicker, if you want it quicker, emailing is going to be the way, electronic. Right. So you can opt to receive both if you'd like. It usually takes around 2 weeks for the test to be complete, though sometimes will vary. So take a look into that too.
And once you've received your results, if you do come back you'll have measurements for everything. Like for instance, heavy metal zinc was the problem at my place, and the zinc was literally off the charts. So they could say, look, there's only supposed to be, I'm making these numbers up. There's only supposed to be 5 parts per million of zinc in your soil, and yours had 55 parts per million.
Yeah.
And they'll also give you some ways to fix this.
Yeah, exactly.
So they gave us some really good advice on how to change the pH of our soil and contain the metals.
And that's really what you have to do. And a lot of it, too, is building up the soil from what you have. You can dig out, remove. That's only going to remove it and put it in a different spot. But you need to build up good soil so they're not down there to the bad stuff.
And the soil pH matters. So even if you're building up, you have to keep checking soil pH and, just learning how to contain and remediate. And in some cases, if you have the money and you want to do this, there are companies that will come in and do that for you.
Yeah, definitely. So, if you want more of an in-depth look at this in writing, we are in the Chickens magazine spring of last year. Was it spring of 2024 or spring of 2020? No, spring of 2025.
2025, yeah.
Our article is right in there where everything is written out for you. But you know what? There is another danger that comes from keeping poultry in contaminated soil that we want to talk about because this does involve humans. Now, heavy metals can be passed on to humans through the eggs of compromised chickens. So think think about if they're taking in so much, like when you put chickens on medicine, you have a withdrawal time because they take those things in. Now, if they're taking in too much lead, zinc, all these different things, they're going to pass it through to the eggs. And then if you eat the eggs, you're taking those heavy metals in. So
there have been several studies on whether lead is passed through eggs, and absolutely. And we know how dangerous lead is for growing children. It's dangerous for everyone, but very dangerous for children.
Yeah. And you know what? Higher levels of zinc for people eating those eggs and hens too. You don't want any of that stuff in there because it can cause some problems. To the best of our knowledge, there aren't many studies concentrating on the ill effects of zinc, even though, we don't know. So we want you to be careful with that too. I mean,
it's a beneficial nutrient. And so zinc is fine, but in high levels, zinc is toxic. So
right. I was going to say it's in all the cold medicine, the cold remedies, like gets your zinc. But if your soil has 150 times the amount, we don't know what that's going to do to you.
Right.
So
right.
Please be careful. Now, because the dangers associated with heavy metal poisonings are so serious, it's important to start soil remediation as soon as possible.
Yeah. And like we said earlier, your results usually have some suggestions from the lab for how to change, how to fix your soil. There are some solutions out there. There are some natural things that work really well.
And working with your veterinarian for your birds, if you already have birds on this contaminated soil and you're getting a high rate of sudden death, but you see different things happening like sleepy birds. One of the things is watery diarrhea. I don't think we mentioned that.
Profuse and watery diarrhea as well.
There's a big plethora of symptoms that you can see. Those are the things, that's the time to go to the veterinarian and ask for help.
Go too long, you often end up with things like organ failure, kidney shutdown, like no good thing's going to come of it. There's some interesting experiments like growing linen, flax.
Right. And I thought you were going to mention your tincture too.
Yeah. There are a couple of other plants that are known to draw heavy metals out of the soil. So I know I can't grow a blade of grass in my runs, so that's not going to work for me. But I did some research and found a pretty substantial body of evidence that has proved that cilantro, like you put on your tacos, cilantro can remove heavy metal. It binds it and flushes it out of the system.
Right.
So like 1 week a month, I do a preventative cilantro tincture in the chicken's water to help flush out any remains of that. And they've done really well with that regimen.
Oh, yeah. Like if you notice any little symptom, you're like, time for a tincture. And it usually works and gets everybody feeling good too. So those are the things. Now, again, err on the side of being cautious because it's not worth it for you, your chickens, anything. So like I said, if you want an in-depth written article, it's in the Chickens Spring of 2025 episode.
Our friends at Good Eggs solve the age-old question of how should I wash my eggs?
They're chicken people just like us who created the original silicone egg scrubber.
Both Chrissy and I use their brush and natural enzyme wash every time.
It's a total game changer.
It makes cleaning eggs so much faster and easier, plus they have a lifetime guarantee.
Good Egg is a small family business right here in the U.S., and they donate 10% of all profit directly to folks affected by cancer.
Go check them out at goodeggstuff.co.
That's goodeggstuff.co. Tell them Chrisie&Holly sent you.
Are we ready to move on to
cracking the eggs?
Cracking those eggs. Now, today we're doing zucchini and black walnut cake. Because it's been only like a few weeks since we've done a cake, and we love our cakes every year.
Love the cake. I'm being serious when I tell you this is one of the most delicious things I've put in my mouth in a long time.
That's good.
That is good. This cake is delicious. It's a 1-layer cake with cream cheese frosting. You do not have to use the black walnuts, but they do have a very distinct taste.
They do. They do.
And like this is black walnut territory here where we are, so we've got them everywhere. You can use regular walnuts, but again, it doesn't have that. It's almost like a wine flavor to it that the black walnuts have.
They do. They do. Okay, so let's go on to ingredients that you're going to need for the cake. 1.5 cups of grated zucchini, as much moisture squeezed out as possible. We always say that for zucchini. 2 large eggs at room temperature, 1 cup of granulated sugar, 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour or gluten-free 1-to-1, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of cardamom, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1 cup of those black walnuts coarsely chopped. Now, let me just go through ingredients of frosting so we can go straight through the how-tos. 3 ounces of softened cream cheese or dairy-free cream cheese, 2 cups of powdered sugar, 2 tablespoons of milk, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract.
You're going to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And you want to spray or butter a 9 by 13-inch baking pan. This is very much like snack cake size. In a medium or a small mixing bowl, whisk together the flour, the baking powder, salt, cinnamon, cardamom, and nutmeg, and set that aside. In a large mixing bowl, stir together the egg, sugar, and that oil until it's smooth and well blended. Then you're going to mix in the vanilla. Add the dry ingredients to the egg mixture and stir well to combine everything. Mix in the zucchini and the walnuts. Pour the batter into the baking dish and spread it evenly. If you don't spread it, it actually will bake a little uneven because it's such a thick batter. So spread that out. Bake it for 30 minutes or until a tester comes out clean, and you're going to cool it completely in the pan. To make the frosting, you're going to beat the cream cheese in a medium mixing bowl until it is smooth. Add the milk, the vanilla, and the powdered sugar, and beat until all the ingredients are blended into a spreadable frosting. If the frosting is too runny, add a little bit more powdered sugar until it's the right consistency. If it's too stiff, add a little bit more milk until it's spreadable. And that's it. Spread frosting over the cake, serve, and enjoy. It is so good.
Take it to your bestie's house and talk chickens. That's the best thing you can do. Always take all your baked goods to your best friend's house and then enjoy them there.
I hear you.
Try it. You might like it. Let us know what you think. Okay. Yeah. Holly Ann's saying you'll love it. I'm saying you'll love it too. Okay. So let's move on to retail therapy. Retail therapy. Yeah. This week's retail therapy is a request from one of our patrons, Carla. Carla, we love you so much. You have become a friend over these last 5 years. And your request was chicken alarm clocks. And we started looking at them and we were laughing ourselves silly last week when we were looking at them. There's a lot out there.
There's a lot more than I expected to be out there. A lot of vintage, you can find some vintage chicken alarm clock.
And I'm looking at one that is the old school looking alarm clock with the 2 bells on it, okay? With the handle that you can carry around.
Right.
The face is a crowing chicken and it does the cock-a-doodle-doo to wake you up in the morning. What else would be better but to wake up by a cock-a-doodle-doo?
I kind of do.
I know. Addison and Sheffield, that is where this alarm clock is. Now, I cannot hear little man because he's a little guy. So
he's also a lot farther away from your bedroom than my chickens are from my bedroom.
Yeah, so I don't hear a cock-a-doodle-doo unless it's a very rare time that my bedroom windows are open. Then I may hear a little bit of it. But I think Joe would not be a happy camper if I got a cock-a-doodle-doo alarm clock.
Probably not. I mean, I'm seeing some vintage ones that are absolutely fantastic.
There's a lot of vintage alarm clocks. There's one vintage large rooster alarm clock with motion on Etsy. There's one available. It's in somebody's cart.
Mid-century modern.
Oh, the other one I just looked at kind of looks like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see this one back? Look at this.
Oh, big. That's a big rooster.
Yeah, and it has just the face clock on the bottom. This is definitely vintage. I want to see under item details if it might not tell me. It's from the 1980s.
Yeah, there's a range of them from, mid-century modern up through the 80s and 90s.
I mean, there's this one. It's a rooster vintage rhythm chicken talking clock.
That's a little complicated.
It's okay. It's $199. It's not cheap.
What about the rock and roll chicken alarm clock?
I see that everywhere. The chicken has the guitar.
And the face of the clock is the guitar. Yeah.
That is so cool. I want to see this one right here.
Man,
That's
these things are expensive too. They're really expensive. A lot of these are pricey.
Yeah, this is vintage from the 1970s, and it's plastic moving eyes and chirps and crows.
Moving eyes? Good Lord, that's what I want to see first thing in the morning.
I don't know if you can see. It's too.
I can't see it, but
the chicken's laying like this. Look, Holly-Ann. Chicken's laying like that.
The chicken's lounging.
Yes.
It's a fun idea.
Oh my God, there's so many of them. Oh my God, they have one that you put on the wall, and it's a chicken with a cowboy hat, and the wings go like this.
The wings flap as the...
Yes. It's like a cuckoo clock, but it's a chicken.
I think this would give me morning trauma if I woke up to something like that.
The Target. It's a Target. Wait a minute.
A Target? What?
Yes. The Lakeside Collection clock. Pendulum country theme cow pig rooster. It's $25. And the egg is hanging like the pendulum.
Oh, that's clever.
Oh, wait. I've got to send you a picture of this one right now. Hopefully you get it in a second. Yes, we do text each other some things as we're talking about them. But there's so many fun things. Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Look them up. You might find some cool chicken alarm clocks that you like. We need that one for the studio. Let us know what you think. There's so many more that we didn't even mention.
I'm glad that studio's in your house and not mine. I draw the line at the flapping, I think.
The flapping and the egg dropping. Yes. Okay, so should we tell everybody what we're going to be talking about next week?
Next week, we are spotlighting the beautiful and very, very old Old English pheasant fowl. So old, it's in the name.
It's in the name.
Main topic, Dr. Rebecca is joining us. We're going to be talking about cancer in chickens.
Not a fun one, but necessary.
Cracking the eggs, 4-ingredient almond cookies, because this time of the year, it's hot and we want it quick.
That's what she said.
And retail therapy. We're going to be talking about emotional support knitted chickens.
When are you making me mine?
As soon as I learn how to knit one. After I've made myself a few.
What should we tell everybody to do until next week?
Hug your chickens, ducks, and geese, and not raccoons.
Every day. And kiss them too. Don't forget to kiss that raccoon.
Ugh.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you'd like to see more of us, please follow us on Instagram at Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. If you'd like to help us grow the podcast, please leave us a written review on Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, please visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. Thanks for listening.